Happy Saturday, everybody. Hello. Welcome to my channel again. And we're going to go ahead and pull the card for the day. Again, I'm going to be using the Oracle, the 7 Oracles of the 7 Energies, if I can get that out. Oracle of the 7 Energies by Colette Baron Reid. Today's card is a powerful move. So now the time of rest and contemplating is over. It's time to take action. So, looking ahead at what your intentions are and going after it. No more sitting and waiting around, thinking about what needs to be done or doubting or contemplating anymore. It's time to start moving towards this. So a powerful move. Now's the right energy to do it, and it's time to take action. So basically, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as this unique person that is created from source, that you are part of source, that you are a soul in a human body here for a purpose, and it's not to just sit around and wonder and ponder and all that. Yes, we have to get through those energies of healing and contemplating and figuring out what our intentions are, but then there's a point where we need to stop sitting back and waiting. It's time to take action. And I really feel like with this powerful move, I really had something that Spirit brought to mind that it needs to be shared. And I don't know who it's going to be shared with. But the thing is, we have people that are more docile and more empathic. So they think about, how their energy is going to affect everybody else, and also how everybody else's energy affects them, and that will keep them maybe blocked or stagnant from moving forward, just because the energy is just so intense, right? But we also have those people that just go after whatever they want without any care about how it affects anybody else, their intentions. I'm an Aries. I have an Aries sun and moon. I've always been one of those kind of rebel, wild child, free kind of people. Not that I went out and wreaked havoc on the world. I wasn't. I was always kind of quiet, stayed to myself, introverted. I do have my social side, but so when they talk about freedom of speech and being free to do what you want and all that, I get the concept, and I do agree. We should all have that freedom. We are all human beings and deserve that freedom. So I do kind of buck down to authority in some ways. Of course, I do know that there's rules and things that we do have to follow to be a civilized place, right? And I do feel like, we should be respectful of other people. So I do understand that part, but I really don't like how they get too assertive or aggressive with it about, I'm free, I can do whatever I want, because there is also a place where we need to be respectful and responsible, because I really do feel like a lot of times when we push past that, like, oh, I deserve to be free and I'm not going to take it and all that, but then a lot of those kind of people are pushing their energy onto quieting others and taking away their freedom. And I really feel like a lot of times that they forget about the consequences. And when we are out there trying to be forceful or take the lead of something, we have to, and in general anyway, we have to realize that our consequence, if you're going to be putting yourself out there, that you have to be willing to accept those consequences, because every action and everything you do and everything you say has consequences. And this is the story that I was told to share, which is interesting. So I'm wondering how it's going to touch. And this is in no way based on that I believe in any kind of dark magic or voodoo or anything like that, or I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying. So this is a story of my husband. I used to, I was married in 2010 all the way for a few years. And his name was Kevin. So when Kevin was younger, he actually was in high school, and he enlisted in the military, which actually he was enlisted in the Coast Guard. And when he left after high school, he got, went through training, all that while he was in high school. And then he got deployed or sent to, believe it or not, he went to Key West. So he, Key West, which is like a resort area. So it's like, wow, you know, the ships he was on and whatever you call it was stationed in the Key West. So if for any of you who know that, Key West is like a little island off the coast of Florida. So very tropical, like very resort area. And they were stationed down there. And then they would go to places like the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, all those kind of places. That's where they would go. Well, he was young and had just gotten away from home. And he has his good side, but he does have kind of a reckless way where he he likes to get under people's skin and kind of torment people, see how he can tick them off a little bit. Can you guess what sign he is? I'm not going to say. Anyway, so he has one of those where he can really push your buttons. But anyway, he was down there, and, you know, there's different groups of people you can get involved with. Well, he got involved with this group that, you know, they just partied. They had no respect for people. They womanized. They were all like that, right? Unfortunately, he didn't take the good route of like trying to advance his career and stuff like that. But anyway, you know, he was young, so we all go through that kind of stage. So they were like drinking all the time and everything like that. So this, I guess he had been in a few years, which now he says he wish he would have taken the better route of, you know, advancing his career and studying and different things like that. But it's hindsight, right? So a few years in, they were in Haiti, and like I said, he was with this group. They would go out drinking and all this. Well, he had hooked up like with well, he didn't hook up, but he had met one of the locals there in Haiti, this Haitian gentleman, and he asked, you know, those little shops where they have the little shrunken skulls. So, you know, he was still probably in his late teens or maybe 20 by then. And he asked one of the locals, like, hey, can you give me one of those shrunken heads, right? So, of course, in Haiti, they don't have a lot of money. So a lot of them live in poverty. So they were like, sure, we'll get it, you know. And, you know, there's a language barrier there as well. So, so he was on his ship, you know, and I guess he was cleaning the deck and different things like that. So this guy comes back. The Haitian comes back on this little boat, like rowing along the side of the boat, and he, you know, makes contact with Kevin, and he throws this bag up on the ship. So, you know, Kevin picks it up. It's the little shrunken head he's expecting, you know, he's all excited. So he opens it up and he reaches in, and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, gritty, whatever, and it's bigger than he thought. So he pulls it out, right? And it's actually a human skull with dirt all over it. So this Haitian apparently dug up a grave. So that's freaky right there anyway. And Kevin was thinking like, yeah, what is, you know, yeah. I was thinking like a, you know, one of those little fake shrunken heads. So, and Kevin says that there was the jaw missing and there was a hole in the head. So, you know, the guy, you know, he had already taken care of the money and all that. So he just takes the bag, whatever. The Haitian that was down in the little rowboat, all of a sudden just like starts pointing up at the ship at Kevin, like staring at him, pointing. And Kevin said it was like really awkward and he felt very uncomfortable. So, you know, he just kind of moves over to the other side of the ship. Well, this guy is rowing around the boat, around the ship, the Coast Guard ship, round, and he makes contact with Kevin again, staring at him, pointing. This went on for a few times and Kevin said it creeped him out, you know. So, okay, that passed. Within a few months, it was March 31st. It was in the 80s, so I don't know exactly, you know, what the 80s, but, you know. So March 31st, his friend, one of his friends that he used to hang around with, drink, party, whatever, womanize, whatever he did, comes to him and says, hey, my car got stuck in Miami, which is, you know, north of Key West. So he says, you know, my car got stuck there. I'm going to rent a car and I need somebody to drive up there with me so one can drive the car back and I can, you know, drive my car back, whatever. So Kevin's like, no, I don't feel like it, you know, we've worked all day, you know, whatever. And they're getting little sleep because they're going out partying or drinking every night. So the guy convinces him, right? So they go up to Miami. Took a few hours, try to figure things out, whatever. And he didn't get his car back, bottom line. So by this time, it's like pushing midnight, whatever. And it's quite a long drive from Miami to Key West. There's like, I don't know if any of you know it, there's like a roadway going down into, because it's like I said, it's like a little island, you know, going through. And here it is, you know, past midnight by this point. They're tired. And so they're driving that long drive to Key West. And so by this point, it's April 1st or April Fool's Day. So I guess they were both tired. So Kevin actually fell asleep. He says the next thing he remembers was like this screeching sound. And apparently the guy had fallen asleep too and ran off the road. And I don't know if the car flipped or if it hit a tree and then bounced back off or whatever. But he said the next thing he remembers, he slammed into the windshield, the door flew open, he fell out of the car, and the car ran over his leg. And then he just doesn't remember little bits and pieces by that point. Luckily, somebody was coming down that road and stopped to help them, and they got airlifted by helicopter to Miami. So here's the freaky part. Kevin was in a coma for a while, and they even got last rites a few times. His parents flew down from New Jersey down to Miami to be with him. And he was like, luckily he recovered, but he had to go through a lot of rehab, and he still has like some kind of disabilities from that and had to leave the Coast Guard. But the thing is, here's the freaky part. The guy that got the skull and pointed at him, Kevin hates people pointing at him now, which was understandable. The skull that had the jaw missing, the bottom jaw in the hole in the head, Kevin broke his jaw, and he had to have his jaw, his mouth wired shut. And they also had to drill holes in his head to relieve the pressure. So isn't that kind of creepy? It's really, so he really feels like the guy was trying to push the energy, like, because, you know, digging a grave up and taking a skull out of a grave, he was transferring that negative energy on him. So I don't know why I needed to share that story. I really feel like it's just saying about the consequences. You know, yeah, it's good to be free, but you also have to think about the long-term consequences and the effect that you're going to have on other people and your own self. So, you know, I'm sure that wasn't his intention at the time, thinking that somebody was going to go dig up a grave. But you really, and, you know, because, you know, he was younger, you know, sometimes we don't think when we're young, but everything has a consequence, and it's not always the best consequence. So really consider that, okay? So with this powerful move, I'm not trying to scare you with that story. I really am not. You have a lot of power in your hands, and your words do matter, and your actions do matter. So with these powerful moves, do it with integrity, and think about the consequences that you will have. That's for somebody out there, for everybody really, but for right now, this is saying it's time to stop contemplating. You know, I'm not saying never stop contemplating again, but it's time to take action, basically. It's time to go for what you're here for. You know, this is a very powerful time. We need people that are healers and raising the vibration and helping others and the energy to lift the vibration of the planet right now. You see what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and just there's a lot of stuff going on. So do it with integrity, do it with grace, do it with thinking about what the consequences are going to be, okay? So that was long-winded. Thanks for listening to my story, but time to take action. Yesterday we had deep breath, so, you know, take a deep breath, ground yourself, raise your vibration, set good intentions that it will benefit everybody involved, and take action, okay? It's now time for that powerful move. So thanks so much for watching. Namaste, and have a beautiful Saturday. Take care. Bye.